that I am here today as an introductory session, really, to give some information that will pertain to videos that will follow this, where we will move through exercises or learn to do exercises, and you can do them on your own. You can follow the videos I make every time that you do them. A series of exercises to maintain or increase range of motion, build muscle strength, build stability in our knees, in our pelvis, in our ankles, and also look at exercises we can do while sitting. That could be a good complement to working at your desk all day or sitting in a long flight, where we're going to want to keep our blood moving. We're going to want to keep our lymphatic system draining to prevent swelling in the legs, and also to create just a strong, active, moving body in our lives, where otherwise a lot of the time we're quite static. So what I'm going to be doing is in large part derived from yoga, but since physiotherapy, Pilates, all of them draw from yoga, a lot of what we do may be quite familiar. I'm also going to add the option, and definitely always optional, to add weights to what we're doing. My advice about weights is that if you're new to these exercises, get to know the exercises first before adding weights. If you are prone to inflammation after exercise, if you have old injuries, definitely don't add weights until you know that you're very comfortable in the movements and your body is happy with the movements and used to them, and built some muscle memory and some neurological memory and some range of motion in those areas before adding the weights. But having said that, I'm going to give you some options so you can start thinking about it, or looking around your house and thinking of things you can use. So for weights, we've got two options really. The first is hand weights. So I've got very small hand weights here. This is a 1 pound hand weight, which for a lot of us might feel pretty light, but when you're doing kind of a couple of reps of something, it can start to feel heavier. And it's a great way to start, is to have a couple of weights. So a lighter weight to get you going, and then a slightly stronger weight, once you have built more strength, and you can add another weight. Having said it, there is strength and exercise, range of motion that can be built without even holding a weight or holding something light like a spice jar initially. Another option is to have a Velcro weight around, say, your wrist. So this is a Velcro weight. This is actually a wrist weight specifically, so wrist for belt, I guess. So it has a thumb hole that in theory you can use. So if you're moving your arm kind of very wildly and very vigorously, it's not going to slide around. I'm actually going to tighten mine a little. I'm not going to be encouraging us to do much wild flinging of arms, so you don't need a thumb hole at all. And this is a really great way to do exercises where you're not relying on holding it in your hand. There's no risk of you dropping it on yourself, and you can have the same benefits of range of motion, exercising without actually holding a weight. The benefit of a Velcro wrist or arm weight, I'm going to move to this side, wrist or ankle weight, is you can double up. So even though this is a wrist weight, I didn't want to have to buy two, so I can just get this around my ankle. And so if I was doing an exercise where we were going to do, say, circling my knee, I wouldn't normally be doing it this way around on the chair. I would actually be holding the chair on the opposite side, so don't copy this. I'm just showing for demonstration purposes. Or if I was sitting on the chair and doing an exercise where I was raising, lifting, lowering the leg, or bending, straightening, with the weight there, you're then adding some load bearing to your exercise, which will increase the benefits of it. Again, let's do the exercises without weights first, and then we'll figure out from there, or you can figure out from there, if adding weights is going to benefit you. I'm going to take the weights off of my chair before I move it, because I'm going to move it in a little bit. The other thing I have is I have a yoga strap. You can use a dog leash, you can use a scarf. For our purposes initially, we're only going to need something where maximum your hands will be, you want like a 2-foot distance between your hands, probably no more. But if you do have a yoga strap, you would do a dog leash. If I expand these videos into more expanded versions, there are exercises further down the line where something like a yoga strap would actually be beneficial. Even early on, we might come up with some things where a yoga strap is beneficial. Having said it, a dog leash, a scarf, even a t-shirt, a long sock can actually work, especially for what we're doing for sure in our early videos. So the last thing I'm going to ask you to gather up, and really the only thing I'm going to need you to have for our initial exercises, is a chair. And we all own chairs. So what I'm wanting you to find in a chair is a firm chair. So kind of a dining chair rather than an armchair or a desk chair. You don't want wheels, you don't want to be slipping, you want to be firm. You could also use a yoga ball. I probably should have said that. No, having said that, no, let's not do a yoga ball. I want us to be stable. So ideally, you can have a folding chair, an office kind of folding chair, as long as it's something that occasionally, if we're using it to keep us balanced, that it's not going to fall over. The reason why I like a chair is sometimes we'll use the back of the chair as a support for balance, and other times we'll sit on the chair. So if you have a dining chair with like a thin padding, or if you're South African and you've got a rimpy, you know what I'm talking about, all of that is fine, as long as you're not going to sink into the chair when you sit in it. You can see, you may see it, my chair has a curve and it's kind of sloped back, which means when I work with my chair, I'm going to turn it sideways, I'm going to be only ever sitting forward, because when I sit, I want my spine to be long. I want my hips to be ideally in line with or above my knees. So if you have a very low chair, or if you've got extraordinarily long legs and your knees are kind of significantly above your hips when you're sitting, ideally find something where you've got just your hips are above or in line with your knees rather than below them when you're sitting. Your spine wants to be long. I'll go into more detail about sitting later. You can see I've got a little bit of you may not see it, a little natural curve in my lower back. That's an important part of sitting. I'm not rounded and I'm not super arching my spine forward. My core is engaged. I'm lifting my spine as one long unit, and I'm able to sit comfortably in my chair. If you had a chair that was super flat, not curvy like mine, you could actually sit sideways as well. But you can see, because my chair curves up, I'm really kind of dropping down in the back and my legs are uneven. They can't be even. So I'm choosing to sit this way. So I'm going to stop this video in a moment and give you a chance to gather up your chair. And our first series of exercises is really going to be with the chair. It's all you're going to need. Make sure you're in clothes that you can move in. So say you're in a pair of jeans, unless they're super stretchy kind of legging type jeans, even then they likely will limit your range of motion. So a pair of soft sweatpants, something that is not going to hinder your range of motion, where you can bend a knee, bring it right in, you can move your body comfortably. You don't have to wear yoga gear, just something soft that is not going to limit your range of motion, that you feel comfortable in, and find your chair. So I will see you in the next video.